Episode 90, The City of Hebron. Welcome to the History of the Bible. We will be covering chapters 14 through 21 in today's episode. In the last episode, we talked about the land grants that were given to each of the remaining tribes of Israel on the west side of the Jordan River. However, after all the tribes had received their land grant, there were two more left to be given out. This would be Joshua and Caleb. We're going to first talk about the land grant that was given to Joshua. At the end of the dividing of the land amongst the tribes, Joshua asked for a city to be given to him as an inheritance within the land. The name of the city in Joshua 19 verse 50 is Timnathserah. Today, this city is believed to be Khirbet Tibnah. The city would be about 15 miles, or 24 kilometers, west of Shiloh. This would be located in the middle of the inheritance that was given to the tribe of Ephraim, which Joshua was a descendant of that tribe. As a side note, the tabernacle would be set up in Shiloh. The city would be the central location of Israel for the next couple hundred years. The other land grant that would be given to the individual is Caleb, other man who went into the land of Canaan and spied it out with Joshua and 10 other men. This was before the Israelites would wander in the wilderness. In Joshua 14, verses 6 through 15 is the land grant that would be given to Caleb, and in Joshua 15, verses 13 through 19. And the verses in chapter 14, Caleb comes to Joshua and requests for the land that they spied out to be given to him as an inheritance. When Caleb was sent into Canaan to spy out the land, it says he was 40 years old, and yet, even though it had been 45 years since he was sent into the land to spy it out, he was just as strong at 85 as he was when he was 40. His body never got older. Therefore, he had the same strength for battle at 85 as when he was 40. Because Caleb trusted the Lord, believing the promise that wherever his foot walked in the land would be his inheritance. Therefore, Caleb requested for the land that was spied out, the hill country where the giants lived with their great fortified walls. This was the land that caused the Israelites to fear the people of Canaan, and for that reason, Caleb wanted this land as an inheritance for his family. What can be a little confusing is that the city of Hebron was given to Caleb and his family as an inheritance. However, the city itself was given to the tribe of Levi to live in. Not only was it a city that was given to the Levites, but it would also be a city of refuge, where a person could run to and be safe if they accidentally killed another person. In Joshua 21, verses 11 and 12, explain how this would happen. The city was given as an inheritance originally to the tribe of Judah, which Caleb was part of. They would then give the city itself to the tribe of Levi, and it would be a city of refuge. However, the fields of the city and its villages had been given to Caleb as his possession. Often, when a city was given to a tribe, or in this case, it was given to an individual, Caleb, the surrounding region around the city was given along with it. Along with the city came the villages and towns that the city would protect, because the city was the only location with walls to do so. The Hebron region that was given to Caleb as an inheritance had the valley of Esau. This would be the location where the spies gathered fruits as proof of the land's bounty. What's amazing is that the thing that caused fear in the Israelites, so much so that they didn't want to enter into the land promised to them, would become a place of refuge. The city of Hebron already has a rich history with the Israeli people. Being one of the oldest cities, as Numbers 13, verse 22 says, it was built 7 years before the capital of Egypt was founded. This would be the city where Abraham bought a field that had a cave on the land. This would become a burial cave that would hold the bodies of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. As for the city itself and the defenses that caused fear in the hearts of the Israelites and the spies, the walls discovered today are 15 feet in height and nearly 12 feet thick. However, that more than likely the walls were originally double the height, making them nearly 30 feet tall. The walls were made out of large rocks, some up to 6 feet in size. Legends will try to explain away that the city was built by mythical giants, claiming that the name used for giants is very close to the original meaning for a clan name. It was related to an Amorite clan. However, in Joshua 15, verse 13, the name Hebron is not the original name of the city. It was just the Israelite name. The name of the city was Kiriath Arba. This was because the father of Anak was Arba. In verse 14, it says that the 3 sons of Anak lived in Hebron. If we remember, Anak was the father that would become known as the Anakites or the Anakims. This people group would be known for their height and fierce warriors. They would be giants. Though legends try to explain away giants living in the land. However, in Joshua 15, it says that the giants were living in the land. The idea is that the Anakites were descendants of the Nephilims. That's what the spies said when they returned from spying on the land. Whether the Anakites were descendants of the Nephilims or the spies were just trying to make a point of why they should fear going into the land of Canaan isn't known. What is known, though, is that the descendants of Anak were believed to be giants. And it isn't just the Bible calling out the size of these people. Egyptian records indicate that the land of Canaan had giants living within. For the conquering of the city itself, in Joshua 15, verses 13 and 14, is the event of Caleb conquering Hebron. However, during the battle of the southern campaigns, the city of Hebron was one of the 5 kings that came up against the Gibeonites. In Joshua 10, verses 36 to 37, it says that Joshua and all of Israel came up against the city of Hebron, captured it, and struck everyone within the city down. Then, on top of that, later on in the book of Judges, chapter 1, it says that it was the tribe of Judah that went up and captured the city of Hebron. The answer is that all 3 are correct. The land that was given to Caleb was already promised to him by Moses before the Israelites got anywhere near capturing the land. So when it says that Joshua and the Israelites captured the city of Hebron and its surrounding villages, that is true. The records credit Joshua and the Israelites because he was the commander. Although we know that Caleb captured the city, he was under the command of Joshua. As for the record indicating that it was the tribe of Judah that conquered the city in the book of Judges, that is also true. Caleb was part of the tribe of Judah. So when it says that Joshua captured the city, it comes from a broad point of view, although it gives credit to the man in command of all the tribes. Then it narrows its description by saying that it was the tribe of Judah that conquered it. Again, this is still a broad perspective on who conquered the city of Hebron. When it finally says that Caleb conquered the city, it has narrowed it down from the people to the tribe to the individual that was responsible for the capturing of the city. It says in Joshua 10, verses 38 through 43, Then Joshua and all of Israel went with him from Eglon to Hebron and attacked it. They took the city and put it to the sword, together with its kings, its villages, and everyone in it. They left no survivors. Just as at Eglon, they totally destroyed everyone in it. Then Joshua and all Israel with him turned and attacked Debir. So Joshua subdued the whole region, including the hill country. Then Joshua returned with all of Israel to the camp at Gilgal. While Joshua and the Israelites were fighting in the south, Caleb went out on his own with the permission of Joshua to capture the city. The results of the battle itself for the city of Hebron are recorded in Joshua 15, verses 13 through 14. Then in verses 14 through 17 are the results for the capturing of the city of Debir, which was the last city to be conquered during the southern campaign. Joshua gave to Caleb a portion in Judah, Hebron. From Hebron, Caleb drove out the 3 Anakites, the sons of Anak. From there, he marched against the people living in Debir. The last 2 cities that were captured during the southern campaign would then bring the land rest from war. The 2 cities were about 6 miles or 9.7 kilometers from each other. If Caleb was given all the land within the boundary of these 2 cities, it would be a fairly large amount of land. When Caleb attacked Hebron and Debir, he brought with him a portion of the people from the tribe of Judah, who he would lead against the city of Hebron and capture. While in the city of Debir, Caleb didn't attack it himself. Instead, Joshua 15, verse 16, gives the account of Caleb making a deal with those that were with him, saying, "Whoever strikes and captures the city, to him I will give my daughter as a wife." The man who would step up to the challenge would be Caleb's nephew. He would capture the city of Debir. Honoring his word, Caleb gave his daughter to his nephew, the son of Caleb's younger brother. Today, it might seem foreign for us for first cousins to marry each other. However, this was still allowed under the laws that Moses gave. It was only forbidden to marry direct relatives, brothers and sisters. As for Caleb offering his daughter as a reward for a man capturing a city, this too may sound strange. Almost seems that she is being offered as a piece of property. However, that is not the case. In ancient times, clan loyalties and the well being of the families were a higher priority than the individual's interest. Rather than seeing them offering of a man's daughter to encourage someone to step up, it could have been seen from her and her father's point of view as an honorable thing. From Caleb's daughter's perspective, her father was going out of his way to find a warrior for her to marry. In addition to the man being a worthy warrior, the city he conquered would be the dowry payment for the marriage. As for Caleb's nephew, the man who conquered the city of Debir, would see it as an honor to marry into the family, because doing so would have raised his status within the clans and tribe of Judah. As we know from the results of the southern campaign, Caleb's nephew would conquer the city. Now, the city itself would not belong to his nephew. Therefore, when Caleb's daughter was given in marriage, a deal was made in which a field and a spring were given to the couple as their family's inheritance. In Joshua 15, verses 18 and 19, give the account. When she came to him, Caleb's nephew, she urged him to ask her father for a field. After receiving the field for their family, Caleb's daughter approached him, her father, and asked for a blessing, saying, "Since you have given me the land of the Negev, give me also springs of water." And he gave her the upper springs and the lower springs. The land in the Negev was the desert, so only water was found is if a deep well was dug. Stepping back from the story of Caleb, his daughter, and his nephew, one might think that the story was random to be recorded in dividing the land. Yes and no. The story of Caleb receiving his portion of the land that was promised to him, in a way, concludes the Lord fulfilled his promise to his people, even to the individual's family. Caleb was promised the land that he spied on all those years prior to, the land that caused fear in the hearts of the people of Israel. As for the story of Caleb's nephew, it might seem out of place to talk about him. However, his story isn't finished. As a sneak peek into the future, he would become one of the first judges that Israel had after the death of Joshua. But we're not there yet. For now, that does wrap up the dividing of the land among the tribes of Israel. They had received all of their portion of the land. However, not all the land had the current inhabitants driven out, but the major cities had been subdued. There's also one thing that hasn't been touched on, which we will take a look at in the next episode. So join us next time in episode 91, Giants in the Land. Until next time, remember that you are loved, special, and worthwhile.